Yo,
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 yo.
yo. Let's go. Yes,
It's the brain again.
podcast. Wefobz the Podcast.
I'm
Episode
so
13.
young. I'm so young.
Coming at ya.
I stay strong, and so I still move on, no matter what goes on. Starting from a fireplace, moving on.
Yes,
because
sir.
I started from a fireplace. I'm all about the money making. I don't got time for any haters. No, I'm trying to go see different places. Because I started from a fireplace. I'm all about the money.
Man. Number 13. Welcome back, ladies and gents, Wefobz Nation, boys and girls, and to my fellow co-hosts. You are keeping it posted right here on the Wefobz Podcast, episode 13 with Chieflott
what's good?
and Puni Moa,
Gee whip.
and your boy, guysosmooth. Another great day, evening, afternoon, morning, wherever you're listening, all over the world. This is Wefobz Podcast. So before we get things started, we want to just make a quick disclaimer here. Anything we say and or do on this podcast and any future podcasts, or even the ones you've heard before, is purely for entertainment and educational purposes only. Wow, let's get it. What's up, bro? Talk to me.
Wefobz mission, promote and encourage the changing of negative mindsets, stigmas, situations, and encourage into positive outcomes.
There it is. Thank you, Puni, for that Wefobz mission introduction. Well, here we are, gentlemen. Anything good on your all event going on so far?
Chief,
Pretty good. Everyone good? Chief, you good? Puni, you good?
So, we good. Tired as usual.
looks like it. You looks like you tired with your eyes.
Beautiful.
You need the shirt that I have on here, buddy.
I like it. So we got a lot of cool things again to talk about. Well, you know what? It's not actually cool. It's actually very it's an emergency. No, it's a very hot topic again, because Wefobz the podcast. We like to keep everyone up to date with the world, local, and national news. Want to get our Coconut Nation going out there and keeping up to date with all of that. And you know what? The first topic, the topics we're going to be talking about is the banks collapsing, Lapita Pottery. Then we're going to go into our Wefobz updates, and we'll close it out with following the market.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Well, let's talk about the first topic,
Yes, sir.
banks collapsing. So right now, a bunch of major banks in the U.S. are actually becoming, are being liquidated or becoming close to insolvent, or maybe they are insolvent already, which means they're collapsing, which for simple terms for the everyday guy and gal, the banks are shutting down. It's becoming 2008 all over again. And what do you know? The US government is bailing them out again, giving them a free pass, giving them money to hold on. I mean, they did this back in 2008. They're doing it again now. So one of the big things, though, there was a clip going out of one of the senators. I think she was a senator or a rep. Was a senator. I need to get her name, but she was speaking and she was scolding the Republicans and the Democrats. She's a Democrat. She was scolding the ones because what had happened is she said there were regulations put in place back in 2008 when the banks collapsed back then that prevented this very scenario that's happening now. It was put in there to safeguard us from this, to safeguard the people who put their money in the banks from this very thing that's happening right now. But then during the Trump administration, they took the Democrats and the Republicans voted, there's a bunch of them, voted to take away those regulations. And now these banks are collapsing. there's also an underlying story that there's people from these banks are admitting one of the banks, they're targeting cryptocurrency. They're trying to kill cryptocurrency. That this is the story of the collapsing. It's all connected, but everybody must understand major banks are collapsing. Let's see if I can get the names of the banks. Have you both heard of these? What's going on so far? Have you two heard anything on your
I
end?
thought it was only one bank.
Oh,
Is there something I'm missing? I thought it was only one bank.
Oh, it's already been 3 banks. 3 major banks collapsed. It's a domino effect happening. So
Silicon Bank is what I heard. There's 2 others you're saying?
Signature Bank, which is a big bank for cryptocurrency, cryptocurrency, DeFi protocol or whatever. People that invest in cryptocurrency and other businesses that deal with cryptocurrency is big on Signature Bank. And then there's another bank. So Silicon Valley Bank, Signature Bank, and there was a third bank. Signature Bank shut down, yeah. What's the third bank? Let's see.
Yeah, as far as
Silvergate Bank. Yeah, go ahead, bro.
So those banks right, them 3 banks right there are all catered towards the Bitcoins and all those money spender guys.
Just one, just Signature. The other 2 were catered more towards tech, like high tech.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. But like the big banks for us regular people is Bank of America, Wells Fargo, and Citibank. Chase is another one too. So those are the major ones for us that are depositing regular workers. The only ones I see on my end that are concerned are those that does business online, Bitcoins and stuff like that. But as far as for myself who banks at regular banks, local banks, there's no red flag coming up. Matter of fact, those major big banks are declining comments because it has nothing to do with the regular interests or regular business folks like ourselves. Those people that are, like I said before, is them banks are catered solely for tech people, and those are pretty much like how we're into all those kind of stuff, Bitcoins and all this stuff like that. Those are the only ones that are concerned off of it because it's a new thing. I'll go further with that is what's his name? Dave Ramsey on his network. That's pretty much what he says, that we have nothing to worry about. But then again, the new saying is, don't trust the media or don't trust the news. These are all fake news. Everybody is just accountable for or believe whatever they want to believe. As far as me, Puni Moa, my bank, I bank at a regular local bank too, and my bank there's no red flags going on. My deposits are able to go in well, and I'm sticking to that, fellas.
Chief?
Yeah, I'm seeing JP Morgan. I mean, this is the 2021 top banks: Chase, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Citigroup, U.S. Bank Corp, PNC Financial Services, Capital One, TD Bank. There's a whole ton of list of them that are like that's much bigger, I guess. And then if I ever heard this correctly, the reason why the Silicon Valley one is that's the bank for the millionaires, right? Isn't that something that the millionaires' money's all stuck up in there?
Yeah, it is. It's a bank. When you talk about Silicon Valley, you're talking about California and all their millionaires and billionaires and their startups and stuff going out there.
The 2%.
The 2%ers.
Yeah, so on that note, kind of similar to what Puni's saying, like, I hate to say it, man, but who cares? That's what they get, or I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not exactly sure how's that going to affect everyone. It sounds like it's specifically affecting millionaires, and that's totally fine with me, I guess, for now.
Well, that's why you have your brother guysosmooth about to spit some game on what's going on. So the exact feeling of how you two feel is exactly how a lot of people felt back in 2008 when before the major crashes of a lot of banks. What a lot of people don't understand, though, is these banks that are on there is connected to those banks that you guys just said, because banks do this sneaky thing where they get their money and they deposit it in other banks to get interest rates from other banks on your behalf. They take a big chunk of that money and they just give you probably 2%, 1%, 0.5% interest rate back on your dividends if you're depositing with them. So what am I trying to say? It's also hit here in Hawaii, boys. So you guys don't feel it over there, but then this is what happened. I got this from KITV4 News. So they're saying when the Silicon Valley Bank thing happened, Bank of Hawaii decided to halt trading at different points on Monday, with its stock dropping 30%, 36% at one point. But now the trading's resumed and the stock is now back at $51.08. Bros, it may not be happening where you're at, but it's already happening here in Hawaii. Like, just a ripple effect of that. So one bank collapsing, all banks are connected. This is what I'm trying to say with the banks collapsing. You guys don't see it yet. So I'm just going to keep updated with all of you to see what happens on that, and we could bring it to the Wefobz Nation if anything ever happens in your guys' areas with your banks. But know that there was regulations put in place to keep this from happening. They took those things away, and now all these banks are in free fall, and the government stepped in to bail out these 3 banks, which is unfair. Because if this happens to the everyday person like you or me, we would have went to jail. You guys get where I'm coming from? If we did what these banks did, we would have went to jail for it. What do y'all think about that?
I just heard that. I just seen something recently that Joe Biden's administrator was the one that allowing this to happen, and there's some kind of ban that's coming behind it to stop it.
Yeah,
from bailing them out.
They're trying to stop it from bailing them out. And yes, it's the Biden administration, but you know what? It's not the Republican and Democrats agree on this. You gotta understand that those laws cannot pass unless the both sides agree on the laws to pass. The thing that's causing this.
Go ahead.
The thing that's causing this is them raising the inflation rate. Because those major banks couldn't pay back they weren't in people. What happened was people withdrew money all at one time because the interest rates were just not feasible enough for them to make a profit keeping their money in these banks. So everybody started withdrawing money out. That big withdrawal of money at one time, then the banks found out, oh crap, can we cover all this money that people are taking out at once? And it became the issue, and that's why they shut their doors down. Like, oh man, we can't manage. Then, like you said, government stepped in and started bailing them out. Like, how are they getting a free pass? So the other kuruku thing about it, or the other crooked thing about it, is before these banks, I think it was a couple of days or a year before, the CEO of these banks sold off their stocks in their own banks. Like, they sold out. They knew the banks were going to collapse, allegedly, and they sold off all their stock on it. So they made out with a huge profit before the collapse. Again, the everyday guy or gal, if they did that, would be in jail for a couple years already. Allegedly. Thoughts?
Yeah, man.
I've heard it was a breakdown that was really clear. I wish I would have copied it. So I'm gonna have to run on deposits and reported work, financial advisors into. Yeah, I should have read into a little more, but there's a really Uruku stuff happening that I think it's backfiring on them.
Yes, or exactly what's happening. It's backfiring on them. Like, all their things that they their little twist and turn with dealing on money is backfiring on them. And this is what's happening. And the funny thing is, it's also backfiring on the government itself. But then the problem is, because it backfires on them and backfires on the government, it's going to backfire on us down the road. Because it's the taxpayers' dollars that's bailing these banks out, which people need to understand. There was a big outcry back in 2008 when we bailed out all those big companies and the banks. People are like, you're bailing them out with our taxpayer money. They're doing it again.
And that's the argument right there. Right? That's how they're doing it. That's how they're bailing them out, is from the U.S. Americans tax dollars. That's worth. And it's kind of iffy that they're not actually making a case like you mentioned earlier, right? Some kind of prison time.
That's what people want. They want prison time for these banks, the bank owners and the bank CEOs. The bank CEOs who made off with the big sellout of their stocks and stuff like that, and they still get a paycheck when the bailout happens or something like that. I mean, like I said, there was regulation put in place that they said, well, they're saying there was regulation put in place back in 2008 to keep this very thing from happening, but now it's happening again because they voted that regulation off during the 2019 all the way through to 2021, and now this happens. It's a messy thing with money. I like that you put it that way, Chief. It's backfiring on them, but we're getting caught in the crossfire.
Yeah, for the U.S. citizens' tax dollars being the one that's actually in the crossfire of this whole thing, and we got to save that, and we don't have a voice on that. We need to do something to avoid this, man, because
we need better representation in Congress and stuff. We need people who are going to stand up for the everyday person's wallet in Congress. Well, Puni, that's kind of why. See, this was the whole argument. What cryptocurrency, and people say Bitcoin specifically. This is why cryptocurrency was invented, was so that people, this stuff like what the banks are doing, because when they shut down their doors, people can't get their deposits out. You get where I'm coming from? When a bank shuts down its doors or collapses or goes out of business, your money is locked in that bank. With cryptocurrency, when you put your money in cryptocurrency, your cryptocurrency is in your digital wallet. It's in your care. As long as it's not on an exchange, you have it. And you can transport it from whatever nation you want to go to or whatever country. It doesn't stay locked in a bank. That's what they're trying to say is the power of cryptocurrency. But there's an underlying story that the U.S. government is attacking cryptocurrency and trying to make cryptocurrency go extinct because it doesn't want to give the power to the people. It doesn't want people controlling the power of their money. They want to control the power of the money. Some things to think about, allegedly.
Yeah, I've heard. I'm gonna try to sum this up, right? So how the banks work, when all that money goes in, all that money is invested, reinvested. Yes. So the Silicon Valley, if I heard this correctly, the banks invested into bonds, trust funds, and all kinds of stuff, right?
In other banks, bro.
In other banks, because the market is crashing. That means the values of those bonds and investments have decreased as well. So people decreased, right?
Yeah, decreased there. He meant decrease, DECREASE, just in case.
Decrease. So now people are trying to take their money out, and then and it's taking too much money out that they don't have because they invested into these bonds.
Yes.
And that's where this whole hit is happening.
That's why they have to close their doors, because they can't pay back the people. It wasn't because FDIC. So the FDIC, which is the government entity that watches over people's money, what does FDIC stand for? Someone look that up, FDIC, for me, please. I'm going to look it up right here on Google. FDIC means the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation. Insures your money for up to $250,000, I think. Remember, these guys have millions of dollars in there. So it's not insured. It's not guaranteed. And then exactly how you say, Chief. They put their money in the bank, but it wasn't guaranteed up to all those millions. These banks, to make a profit, deposited that money in other banks. And when people they saw the interest rates start attacking them because the U.S. government raised the interest rates. They want to withdraw their money and put it in someplace else, an alternative place, so that they could get profit off of their money. Because they saw in these bonds and stuff, they were not getting their percentages back. It was zero. It was going down to even zero or even 0.5 or something like that. But they could take it out now and put it in another place, which has higher percentage yield or percentage, give them more money back for their buck. But because they all made a run on the bank, taking that money out at the same time. The bank couldn't cover all the money. It wasn't insured to cover all that money. And then, boom. And once again, they close their doors. And because when a bank closes its doors, you can't get your money out. But the U.S. government stepped in and said, oh, no, we're going to bail you out. You can get your deposits on Monday, which was yesterday, which was, 2 days ago. 2 days ago. But,
crazy.
Puni, what you think? I mean, you're really quiet over there, bro. Me and Chief are going at it here. What you think?
I was just hearing your guys' stuff out, man. For me, I have the answers. My answer. Yes, man. It goes back into history. It's the credit score. I'm blaming the credit score.
It's the system
how the
of
banks
the
are
credit
using
score.
that.
Yeah.
The system of the credit score is what's causing all this drama. Take it to myself, man. There's a lot of us out there that I'm involved in too. We learned the system of credit and how to get a lot of credit cards and don't even pay back for it. Just call, there's a lot of people, there's a lot in our nation that has credit cards, has loans. And a lot of us can't even afford to pay it all back. And like you guys were saying, all these bigger businesses are trying to leverage their business or whatever, doing the same thing. So it trickles all down to us, man. The bank is at the end of it. They have money that they say that they have. That's not true. Because imagine that, man. So I don't know what is the population of US? Maybe a few 100,000 or
I'll
billions?
look it up for you right now, bro.
Imagine all of us. Now imagine us, the popular, our whole nation in the same day, like today, we all go and withdraw some money, right? That's a lot of money, dude. And in that very same time, there's other businesses that are asking these banks, hey, it's time for you to pay us back for this is the day you're supposed to pay us back. They don't even got that money because all of us are pulling money out. There's millions of people in the US that are just withdrawing money or swiping their card, whatever they're doing, going out for entertainment, movies, dinners, stuff like that. So that's why I'm blaming credit score.
It's mostly to pay bills, bro. Like everybody's bills is up because of that interest rate. And you're right. 332 million people in the US average. That's how much? 332.
Yep.
It's like 331.9, 332.
I know. I have a buddy. Yeah, man. I got here's an example. I know somebody that knows of somebody that knows of somebody who had credit cards, like maybe 5 credit cards. This dude pretty much had 50,000 in his hand, and that's all credit cards. This motherfucker swiped that thing in 3 months, 50,000 gone. You think he got any money to pay that 50,000 back? Heck no. What did he do? My man went and filed for bankruptcy because it ain't his money anyways. And that's our way for us, the middle class and the lower ones, to fire back to them rich folks. You know what, dude? Keep giving me the credit cards and loans. I'll take it. And if I don't care if I don't have to pay it back. I'm gonna give you the minimum, which is what, $20 a month. You know, nobody told you to put it to give me all that money. It's not my fault. I spent it and don't have any other investments to deposit it back. Now imagine my friend, and there's like millions of them like that. Oof. That's why these banks are going bankruptcy, buddies. Yeah. Bad investments, but they're giving it to us,
Yep, it's gonna trickle. It's a trickle down effect, and we just got to be prepared. Wefobz Nation, you should be prepared. Make sure you're invested in the right right assets, and you got your money in the right places. What are the right places? Sometimes we're not saying we're financial advisors, but we have our own plays going. I mean, right now is a good play for us, Chief and Puni. We could start looking at buying up some shares in some banks because their stocks dropped, like a Hawaii stock drop. But you want to buy up shares in a bank like Bank of America and these bigger banks that are already playing good in the game. Anyhow, that's the bank collapsing. Be weary, Wefobz Nation, about money things going on, because the way finances are working in the US is changing right now. You want to be on the cusp of knowing what's going to happen, when it happens, where it happens. Because you don't want to be left out in the dark. Neither do we. Oh, gentlemen, what do you all say? That was a lot to say right there. You guys got anything else on the banks collapsing?
Well, on the business side of it,
It's
there's
just-
another story to it as well I wanted to add on to, right?
Yeah.
There's a thing that I think Rich Dad Poor Dad is the one that really
Nice.
brings this out.
Robert
Businesses,
Kiyosaki.
right?
Yeah.
Doesn't he promotes, like, people look at debt, like where the credit cards that we're using and buying, that's how we kind of get all the funds that we need. And we're not really broke, we're just in debt, and it's a good thing to be in debt.
Yeah, I think that was the point that he made. Remember, like we were talking about it, Chief, before. Puni, we talked about this before. Like, if you got a lot of money, take out a loan, put the loan in some place to get you interest. Use part of that interest to repay back the loan on a monthly basis, and you reap the rewards. Non-taxed income. That's a whole different scope.
And because on the business side, if you look on it, with all this money, when the banks give these monies, they reinvest them, is what I'm saying, right?
Yes.
They reinvest the money. And who are they reinvesting the money to? To other people. They're giving people credit cards because of their credit scores, giving them loans, giving the banks, investing into all that, right? So for businesses that are relying on these funds to come in, whether it be a loan or credit cards, and have $50,000 and whatnot, and then when you go ahead and spend everything, and now you got to pay it back, and then you have to turn around and file bankruptcy because you can't pay the money back. Not only the bank got screwed, and then going farther out, the rich people that put their money in there, which is causing them to bankrupt. I know that's pretty far out, but did you guys piece that together? I just kind of threw that out there.
Yeah, we did. Well, remember, that's also why I told you, Chief, a lot of the rich guys are not going to jail for it, but everyday guys like us, we would go to jail for stuff like that if the bankruptcy couldn't cover us, right?
Yeah, because on the business side, man, it's just debt. Debt is not taxable. They don't tax that. Right?
They don't tax you. They tax your profits.
Yeah, profits only. So the businesses are benefiting off of this regardless, using everyone's money is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Or people with credit cards that are just maxing it out and then turn around and bankrupt. It's such a big scope of a conversation that just kind of blows my mind. We're like, wow. And that's what I'm saying earlier, right? It's backfired on the bank.
Yep. It's backfired on the big boys.
Yeah. Sucks for
And
them.
that's how the countries are too. If you think about it, you know how the saying is like, "Oh, America owes China so much," and the U.S. we're like, "Who gives a fuck?" You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right. Because it's debt.
We're pretty much. This is how the countries are run too, man.
Hey, you guys just brought up a pretty good thing. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna bring in Puni. You're gonna laugh at this because this is what Russia said. This isn't from a news article also that I read earlier today. Russia said, "Man, we are sanctioned out the ass, and we are cut off from the current financial system that we don't have to worry about the bank crisis domino affecting to Russia."
Exactly.
They sanctioned us, they cut us off from their system. So we're not worried about our finances and our economy getting affected by that bank collapse. This is Putin saying this.
Hey,
He's a troll to the freaking farthest reaches of the world, dude.
learn from Putin, man. That's a smart. Think so. Smart. He's smart.
Freaking Putin would come out and say that. He goes, like he said, man, I'm just what do you call it? Paraphrasing here. They sanctioned us off the ass. So why should we worry? We're disconnected from the finance system in the West. Why should we worry about the banks collapsing?
Yeah, if you ask Puni, I'm not even worried about that news of the bank, those banks collapsing because everything collapses and fails every now and then. But guess what? It ends up, there's always a way to get back up. It's the same song, man. Same old song. That's all I'm saying.
Well,
Now, the only time I will worry if something like a Pearl Harbor happened, seeing like a whole bunch of these planes flying over the sky. That's when I'll be worried. But when we're talking about banks,
yeah, because we didn't really feel it when we were. I know I was in the islands back in 2008 when that were happening. Was it 2000? Yeah.
2008 was so broke I didn't even know the country was broke.
Yeah, you get it, right? It didn't really affect us at the bottom of the food chain, but you know, one of the things we want to make known is there's plays to be made for us where we can get in early and ride the wave back to the top. Because like you said, Puni, you fall down and you get back up. So they're going to get back up anyways. We got to check ourselves and see where we can come in and do that. Anyhow, how about we take a little break and then we'll be right back after these messages. What do you think, Puni?
Gee, whoop, let's do it.
Let's go. So Wefobz is brought to you by Wefobz Enterprise, and we're talking about the Wefobz Nation store. You're going to definitely want to check out the Wefobz Nation store. There's a bunch of things over there that you probably want to pick up. The Wefobz Nation store sells a lot of things that Wefobz Nation members are interested in. Check it out. We've got cool merchandise over there. We've got also things pertaining to, interests such as anime, utensils from the kitchen, whatever. The whole friggin' lot of them. We also got bestseller section in that Wefobz Nation store. In our bestseller section, you can find everything that Wefobz Nation members usually order on sites such as Amazon and so forth. We are an Amazon affiliate, so whenever you're clicking or you're buying something from our Wefobz Nation store's bestseller section, you're definitely investing into Wefobz. And there you have it, Wefobz at wefobz.io. Wefobz. Okay, we're back again. Wefobz the Podcast, episode 13. Continuing with the conversation here with my boys, Chieflott.
What's up?
And Puni Moa.
Gee, whoop.
Well, that bank's collapsing topic was it's heavy. We be hitting heavy subjects there.
I'll tell you one thing though, man. I'm waiting when it goes when they open up for stocks, because I need to catch that wave when it shoots up. Because that's the best time to invest in stocks, buddies.
Well, tell us which banks you're gonna start investing in. Maybe we'll all look at it at the same time. Because
we got something. It's the discount season right now, man. Everyone is panicking.
Yeah,
it's time to start.
These coconuts are gonna get in on that.
Oh yes, man.
All right.
Look out. Stay tuned.
Speaking of coconuts, I got something very interesting for you, brothers. You all ready?
Ready. What is it?
Let's talk about Lapita Pottery, boys. Lapita Pottery. Man, let me throw up this. I'll throw up a photo for our audience members. This is something. It came to my attention because I'm all into this archaeology news and friggin' alternative ancient technology and stuff like that. And I wanted to bring it to the forefront of our Wefobz podcast to share with the Wefobz Nation and to share with my brothers right here. Lapita Pottery. When you both hear that, what are you both thinking?
Go ahead, Chieflott.
Ancient history.
Ancient. Puni?
Well,
go Chief. Go Chief.
Go Chief. It's your birthday. Go Chief.
Well, doing a little research on this, man. How the Lapita Pottery connects to Samoan people or the Pacific Islanders is what intrigued me. I do know that there's artifacts in Samoa who have these potteries still today, but to trace the history back through the timeline, I'm through research and looking at things, I've also seen a claim that it goes back 3,000 years ago, and that's pretty interesting. I just feel that's something we should explore.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever the deal is, you know what I mean. I'm still learning the Lapita Pottery deal. which I've seen some really nice discoveries as well too, which is pretty cool. Watching the technology advance today, and yet it seems it's been advanced way before, like over 3,000 years ago, prior to now. So there's kind of something we're missing in between that I think that we should explore.
Well, guysosmooth asked the question, what do I think when the name of Lapita? I automatically thought of lumpia. You know, like the Filipinos lumpia, like the egg rolls. That's what I thought about Lapita until I did some digging into it. But I'm gonna hold mine until let's go ahead, guysosmooth. Where you heading with this, buddy?
You still got me that, bro. That is such a way left comment, bro.
Lumpia.
All right.
Hungry, man.
Hey, you asked the question.
Man.
You asked the question. I'm being honest, y'all.
That hit me right. Like I like, what the fuck?
Solid.
man.
Sorry, man. Let me catch my breath here. Ooh.
I feel my shouty, man.
Oh, dude. Yeah, I think it's about that time. Anyhow, boys.
Or it sounds like a senorita. You know, Lupita, my senorita.
Stop, bro.
Yeah, man. But my bad. Anyway, let's get serious. Okay. I'm ready, y'all.
All right. So Lapita Pottery, why I brought it to our attention it was because of a post that one of my friends on Facebook posted for me. He posted it onto his feed, and it was a post shared by a guy named Tony Brunt, March 11, 2021. And I'm going to show the photo right here. It's got the captions for the photo, who took it and stuff. It was like Alvarez Photography of the pot. You guys have the photo of the pot on your end, just to look at it? Because this is what our Wefobz Nation members are going to be looking at.
Oh, yes.
Yep. So I've just recently been listening to a lot of things dealing with archaeology and engineering, and what a lot of people don't understand. So I'm going to take you all, I'm going to try to water it down as much as possible, like Chief always tells me to do. You got to water it down for our audience, for our Wefobz Nation member, because a lot of the topics we bring is very new for them, or they're probably not interested in it, but we're going to try to make you interested in it. What you need to be interested in is, if you look at that pot, look how perfect it's made. And look at the designs on this pot. Like, then try to compare that pot designs to anything you remember about our Samoan culture. These are designs that went into extinction in our own culture, ladies and gents, and my co-hosts. So there's a couple of podcasts out there. There's also one with our boy again. Like I said, I keep getting his podcast put up on my my YouTube feed. Joe Rogan was interviewing an engineer from I think he classifies himself as an engineer from in archaeology. But this guy, what he says is that archaeologists look at things and they kind of they just make their assumptions based on what they see from what they dug up and stuff. But they don't give the real big picture about what the ancient peoples were thinking, or how they were making, or the tools they were used, or how they were making these things, like these ancient building structures or these ancient relics. And one of the relics you're seeing right there is the Lapita Pottery. Did you all ever know about that kind of pottery existing in our Samoan culture? Boys?
Nope, not at all.
I heard of it, man.
You did it, right?
I just heard of it, man. I've heard there's Samoan Lapita potteries.
The only pottery I knew about Samoa was concrete. That was it.
Well, let me tell you something. If you go to Kukuila, when you go pay your power bill to ASPA, they usually had this one, their desk that they have their cashiers on, and it had like a what do you call it? Plexiglass desk, like a plexiglass. What do you call those things? That you could see items inside the plexiglass or stuff like that. It's not a desk. It's called the counter. A plexiglass counter, and inside the counter was friggin' Lapita Pottery pieces. They're just sitting there. Like, you know, you figured we should have a museum that has these things on display for a very, like, they are on display in a good museum kind of thingy. But no, they're just sitting there. It's nothing against the Aspa guys. It's just our people really don't look at this stuff as anything important. But I'm going to tell you all why it should be looked at as something important. Just by looking at that pot itself, do you think that could be made by hand? It could be made handmade with primitive tools? Just by looking at how perfect that pottery is made.
Yeah, it looks like it was made by hand. How the pottery, how pots are made. Yeah, the clays and stuff.
So, okay, so what I'm thinking is that's exactly what a lot of people will be thinking right off the tip, like right off the cuffs when they see it. Oh, they just made it by hand, because that's what you've been groomed to think by a lot of mainstream archaeologists, right? Like, yeah, they made that by hand and stuff. On a Joe Rogan podcast that he had with a guy named Jimmy Corsetti and Ben Kirkwick. I hope I got their names right. Ben Kirkwick talks about archaeologists don't look at these artifacts in terms of the eyes of an engineer. When an engineer looks at this kind of pottery, an engineer looks at how perfect it was made. A lot of stuff that's made, like the Egyptian pyramids, what's inside the Egyptian pyramids, if you go all the way to the pyramids and stuff, and the landmarks over there in South America. And now I'm coming to you guys with this Lapita pottery. If we could get an engineer to follow along, like to look at this pottery and tell us how it was really made, what kind of tools made it, we're going to be looking at something like, we're going into the realm of advanced technology and machines existing. Chief, you said it. How long ago you said this Lapita pottery was?
I don't know shit about it, but when I looked it up, it said about over 3,000 years ago, man.
Okay. Highlight that phrase right there. Over 3,000 years ago. Remember, in our legends and stuff, it says that we didn't come from anywhere else. We came exactly from where our islands are. You ever heard that? You guys ever heard that, Puni, Chief? Like the Samoan people came exactly from Samoa. They didn't migrate from anywhere else or anything like that?
Yes. Samoan, we didn't migrate, correct. Yes, I heard of that.
So science has proven that there's been migrations from the Asian continents and stuff coming into us. But there's also been the proof that the peaks of the lands that we're living on could have been the peaks of mountains from sunken, it's been sinking into the ocean. We talked about this on a previous podcast. Like how Samoa is sinking under Tonga. American Samoa is sinking under Tonga and stuff like that. Over 3,000 years ago, advanced technology to create pottery like this. Machines. This is what this engineer guy on Rogan podcast said. He said, there is no way you could make that stuff without machines or any advanced tools. With that type of precision put into how perfect the jar or things were made, like how they're at 90-degree angles or 45-degree angles. If you take a look at the pottery again, just look how perfect it looks. It doesn't look peel. It doesn't look lopsided. Have you all noticed that? Just by looking at it, it's not lopsided. Like, think about it. It would get lopsided if you just made it by hand. Because I've worked with pottery before. I'm on it, trying to make a perfect pot. You're always going to have something that's not perfect. Unless you have like a certain type of measurement skill or like a certain machine that helps you to guide you to make it perfect. Sorry, Puni, before I cut you off, what was that? Sorry, Chief. What were you saying, Puni?
Oh, yeah. I was saying, yeah, that's from his professional opinion, but it's like telling, like my teacher used to tell me when I was in elementary, there is no way you're going to have a life. You're a loser. And I proved that bitch wrong. So this is an opinion. You know what I'm saying? Like back in the days when it comes to pottery too, yes, there are stones out there that's proven that are flat, that can be not the entire thing, but to where when it covers the whole part of like How are you able to make that flat, that perfect? Because there's stones like that. And you use the whole thing of just spinning it around manually. You know what I'm saying? This is my whole point of it. Remember, like back in the days, we didn't have a basketball court, but we will use those barrels and cut it into a basketball basketball thing, and then we will nail it on top of the wall, and that's how we'll shoot and play basketball. That's just my point. We were just there's just other ways to be innovative instead of using what Palangis and a lot of people nowadays say, oh, everything's machine. I'm just saying that we've gone away from our own minds of intelligence, using our own imagination, making things happen. That's why I still am saying, yeah, I believe that it was from a human being that did that. That's that craft skills. Now we're talking about precise and all that stuff. People were precise back then. I mean, look at the what is it? The pyramids.
Well, in the pyramids, they're trying to. It doesn't match up to what they're saying how it was built. Like the precision on that pyramid to get even that. Yes, you said there's a flat rock, but then even on a flat rock is not a flat rock. Like 180 across. Right.
There are some rocks. They're all into different shape, and there's a certain point where a rock can become a flat area where you can make a certain object like a pot become, the bottom, make it flat. Yeah. That's all I'm saying. There's it's Mother Nature, God himself, the creation, how this earth is. There's so many things out here that we don't even utilize, that other cultures utilize to build something like a pot. That's all I'm saying. Here's my other thing. Here's my other thing about it. It's like how in Samoa, we cook on the ground, right? But in America, they invented ovens for the heat. But we figured to steam up ours with lava rocks. And that became our heat with all the ingredients and stuff we had around the land. That's how we were able to cook. Nobody taught us what was well done. It's just everybody in their race was just intelligent enough to where they're able to craft certain skills that other race cannot do. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I want to read something real quick. This is from GPT. It says archaeological evidence suggests that the Lapita people first arrived in Samoa around 3,000 years ago, and they brought with them their distinctive style of pottery. Samoan Lapita pottery is characterized by intricate designs and patterns, often features curved and angular lines. If that is correct, that means our designs and all the stuff, the technology-wise to create all these weapons and the way of cooking and all that stuff came from the Lapita people. Is that correct? Am I reading that correct?
Yes. Keep going, and then I'm gonna sum it up for you because I think you guys need to latch on to what I'm trying to say later. I'll give you guys the word after. Keep going, Chief. What else you gotta say?
There's a lot. I'm just.
Oh, okay. So with that being said, what I'm trying to say is people don't realize how advanced our civilization was over 3,000 years ago. That's what I'm trying to tell you boys about. The fact, just the invention of designing on the Lapita pottery, because they said there was no existence of a written language for us. Okay? They said everything was passed on. This is mainstream archaeology now. They're saying everything's passed on orally, meaning by word of mouth. But if we had ancestors that were able to design these things with these types of designs, what I'm saying that a lot of people also don't realize is that when they're these designs have meanings behind these designs. That in of itself is a written language. Just like how we have the Songhai Miki and the Malu, it tells a story. That's a written language. You can't tell us that our civilization and our peoples didn't have a written. That's our written language. A lot of people who study civilizations just say that your civilization is advanced if it already has a written language to it.
Correct.
Lapita pottery, I'm trying to say, this is my opinion from what I'm trying to connect the dots here from everything I'm taking in with all the research that's been going on and things that I see. Even with the access to the internet and access to all these other studies by these other people and these podcasts and these photos, our civilization was very advanced back then to be able to come up with that type of pottery and to use those type of designs. And I want to know what those designs, what they meant. If they were designing stuff like that, of course there should be something written, like a written language already. And what people say is when your civilization has written language, you are advanced. You're as advanced as the Sumerians and the Babylonians and the Romans and the Greeks. We were on that level just by looking at the Lapita pottery. I'm trying to say that.
Yeah, I agree. And at the same time, it's because the island that I come from, Moa, I don't like when they're saying that it's been written, because that in our culture in Moa, it's been shared upon telling the story of our people and how we became. So from Moa, there's nothing written. It's all passed on to generations on top of generations. And that's why I have this, I guess pushback when they're like, oh, the scientist people said that. I don't give a fuck what the scientist people said. It's like the New Zealand people. They're like, do you realize that New Zealand people are the only ones that don't call themselves Polynesians? And one person asked them, why do you guys do that? Because the motherfuckers don't own me. In other words, I'm like, I agree with that. I'm not a Polynesian. I'm from Samoa. You see, it's these white folks always bringing in names for us. They built educations in school. And it's like, to me, I'm just like, as the older as I get, the wiser I become, I realize what other races are talking about. That's from a white point of view of things. But what you're saying, Guys So Smooth, that people back in the days were intelligent and so smart, I 100% agree. I just don't like this whole thing of professional. Oh, this is a professional opinion from this educational person. I don't give a fuck what he says, because he ain't from my culture. He's not from my land. You know what I'm saying? So when you talk about Peter Pot and stuff like that, to me, I'm like, yeah, that's not from Samoa. And why is it in our museum? You know, well, there's no proof that maybe the Christianity that came over there brought it with them. That's my stand on it. But when you talk about, when we're talking about PETA, I'm just stating facts, because when you hear our song, like how you said our tattoos has a story and that it's written, well, guess what? Even the songs of Samoa, all our songs that we sing, the old ones, if you pay attention to them, they'll say something like, where the sea is gold. That sea of gold they're talking about is in Moa. There's a sea right there. Everything that we talk about in Moa is always word of mouth. And our songs, our stories are passed on to generation to generation. Now, it makes it harder nowadays for people to believe, well, if it's just not written, then it's not true. It's hard now because, social media, the internet, everybody's been exposed, so it's up to the person, the individual themselves, of how they want to believe it. You know what I mean? And that's just my take on it, guys.
Chief?
Yeah, I like it. It strikes, it does amaze me, and it makes sense where all the creative, I guess like what you're saying, technology was advanced. And if the Lapita people came to Samoa and taught us all this stuff, and then now we have our own Samoan, well, let's put that together. Is that a good state? Is that a good statement to say that the designs came from us, from the Lapita people?
We are the Lapita people.
That's what I'm saying, right? That means
so.
That's pretty cool.
We lost the knowledge somewhere down the line. Well, the knowledge was wiped out on how we used to do things, which, Puni Moa brought it up. I'm pretty sure everyone knows Christianity had a lot to do with that when the, from our history books, when the missionaries came over, they wanted to bring their sense of Christianity, and they banned us from doing Somaimikis and Malus and stuff back in those days. Had to cover up and cut the hair, right? Yeah, remember that was all in the.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, it's the rules. Yep.
So
I see when the missionaries rolled up and came with all their
So there was we had our own, everybody talks about religion. Yeah, I see, Puni, I see where you're coming from with the white people saying and all that. But this is more on an educated side, that we went through the education system and we're trying to relearn things about our ancient past. And they've made it taboo to a sense. I believe Christianity's kind of made it affect our people's thinking of making it taboo to really study about our past history and our ancestors.
I agree on that. Yes,
like,
I can.
It's closed out the doors to that, because you'll hear it a lot. Which they say that is the time of the darkness. That's the time of when the demons and the aikus and stuff. We don't want to be going into that stuff, because we're in the time of the Kemiul Malam Lama, or we're in the time of the light. We're in the time of God and Jesus. We all have faith in God and Jesus, but it's at the same time, how can we be ignorant to the past that used to exist before then? Past beyond the past. Humanity itself is ignorant to what existed before the flood. Before the flood of Noah, that they say in the Bible, which happened all over the world cultures, humanity itself is ignorant to everything that existed before then. Why is that? Why is our memories erased? And then why I brought the Lapita Pottery subject for us, just to show you guys, we were at that same level that they were all around the world. And we lost that knowledge. We lost that. Can't do it again. Why aren't many of our people going back out to retrieve how it was done or to learn the roots again? It becomes ignorant. Like, our people, I just say our people become ignorant. They want to live in ignorance is bliss. Say, don't look at that, because you'll probably, well, some good reasons don't go. Look at means don't go and mess with it, because you will get cursed or something. Yeah, we forgot how to take care of the curses. They used to give us the answers to getting back and curing a curse. That's the whole why I figured we should cover this Lapita Pottery subject, because we're going to be getting into this a lot throughout the Wefobz podcasts, or this upcoming segment I want us to get into. And I love these. I like where we're getting at with all our viewpoints. It's beautiful. But I'm asking you guys ready to go on this journey with me down this rabbit hole?
I'm down. Because I also found online, because I was doing the research. Now, is it Lapita as in Lapita?
Yes.
P like Putio.
Okay. So, anyways, so I found it online that there are archaeologies or whatever you call those people that went out there to the actual, the nowadays Lapita Island, and tried to see if that's where we all came from. And then, you know what I'm talking about?
So, the Lapita Pottery is a lot there in Moa, but the Moas won't let the scientists come out there to explore it.
Man, Moa's, you better be careful.
I know, because I talked to a couple of people from the national park saying, yeah, sometimes we go out to the woods to try to explore, but we're not allowed.
Good luck. Good luck.
Yeah, because even like what's that? I mean, I never heard of this rumor until I came to America, and like this whole thing about Tongans used to enslave Samoan people.
Oh, it's in our legends, our myths and legend. Yeah.
No, well, what legend is that? Because I'm telling you, that's not from Moa. I'm telling you, bro.
What thing to say?
Yeah, I'm telling you, man. Because what Moa people say, well, if that's the case, then why is he dead?
You guys were never there.
You get what I'm saying?
It was mainly Kukuila Lupolu fighting them.
That's why I was like, what legend was that, man? Because Moa was like,
man, I think to put my opinions on that too. Like, people, they kind of use that to kind of have that bad blood between Tongans and Samoans nowadays, and I saw it happen back in the early 2000s. But they don't understand, man. That was usual for a lot of the ancient peoples back then, and even the Samoans were having wars against Samoans back then. But people use it as an excuse to go against one another. Nah, they were all from whether Samoan, whatever. I don't know if you guys understand, but even before 3,000 years ago, We didn't call ourselves Samoan. There was another ancient name that all the peoples were called. That's what I want our peoples to go and research. Like, where is it? How are we connected to the bigger world? Like, how did Mangua become the seat of the gold, the golden seat out there in the Pacific? The beginning. And then Chief kind of gets to it. Like, how are we connected to the Bible?
Yeah.
Right?
I think Samoans are from the Babylon.
Hey, with the way that pottery looks is similar to a lot of the stuff that was designed in the Sumerian and Babylonian. I'm telling you guys. I'm just giving it out there. Maybe one day some little kid can be over here,
get educated on it, correct.
And then go and they might get interested in what we just said on this podcast and be like, man, I heard it on these Coconuts podcasts, and I want to go research like the origins of our people. Get more people interested in it and stuff, and they may find some ancient technology or something that might help our people get a one-up on stuff, You know?
Man, remember when Samoa, man, they said we're the people from the sun? I think we're aliens.
Hey,
I wouldn't.
That explains why our skin's so dark, like the African Americans. It ain't because we're black, bros. Our skin is burnt.
Funny. Scientifically, they say it's the pigment of our skin. Man, that's kind of why the Lapita Pottery subject was brought up. I really wanted to share that with you, Usos, and I wanted to share that with Wefobz Nation. This is how the cranks the wheels in my mind. It's been like, I want our people to look beyond the look, like look beyond what you're seeing, see it from all angles and see where we can come back at, see how you can get yourself and improve yourself on it, help yourself with your family and stuff. How can you use the knowledge and the stuff we say here on the Wefobz Podcast to your own advantage? That's what we want you to do. And if you ever do it, please do comment for us. We want those comments coming in. Share, like, follow. We have all our social media pages. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. We cover all these exciting topics of the lumpia.
I like to think of I'm sorry.
You like to think of the what, bro?
No, I like to the podcast, right? I like to take it as like it helps people stimulate their minds.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Kind of we lost the whole learning and understanding of the basics, I guess, or the things that we used to be like common sense. Like that doesn't exist these days. These conversations, I remember having these back in the days where now we're just not really discussing these things, or it's not important no more, So, there's a nice connection that I think that we could spend more time learning these things, and just kind of stimulate the mind. These days, 2023, there's so many stuff going on, and it feels very negative, and I feel a lot of negative energy going around. Stuff like this kind of makes us kind of think outside the box and kind of realize that there's more other important things in life than just dealing with some of the things that we're just facing on our own, isolating ourselves, or the way society is these days, at least from America's. I know that's how it is. Well, everyone's miserable.
Chief, I want to put on to you. That's kind of like why we have the Wefobz mission, and I want to read it out again because Puni read it out for us earlier. We want to promote and encourage the changing of negative mindsets, the negative stigmas, the negative situations and encounters you all get into, and we want to turn those into positive outcomes. And that's what we're trying to do right here on the Wefobz Podcast. Like Chief said, like Puni's coming along. Take those thoughts, stimulate your mind. And Usos, I had a cousin, his name was Kyunga, and he said a funny thing that's similar. Well, it's the same as stimulate, man. He goes, vibrate your mind.
I agree with the Oos.
Turn your mind into a vibrator.
Come to the Wefobz so we can fulfill your mind. Stimulate. Do you know what a stimulate is in Samoan? That's another stigma. another man, I just lost my train of thought. Segment. That's another segment we should talk about, guys, is teaching people who wants to learn how to speak Samoan. Well, stimula means fufu. No, just kidding. I'm just kidding, y'all.
Talking about fufu. Fufu's been getting a lot of attention because of you know how the African nations have fufu for their food?
Oh yeah.
That thing tastes hella good though, but it's been getting out big, and I laugh because I know all the Samoans want to comment and do a little laugh, but they hold back.
No, they do. They do comment on that. We're teasing it, and the Port Africans, you know. Shout out to all my Nigerian brothers and all the Wakanda brothers out there. Fufu means to our language is jacking off. Masturbation. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, but I would like to try a fufu, you know. That yeah. What about Mexican? You know how they have the El Polo Loco?
Oh yeah.
You know, El Polo is chicken, but to us, it's Polo is
pollo. I was corrected by that. It's not El Polo, it's a pollo.
Pollo.
Like, it's still spelled P-O-L-L, Polo.
It's
polo. So polo's polo.
Us Samoans are amu, which means like what's the amu?
It means wisdom, knowledge.
That's crazy.
Oh man, yeah.
It means ignorant, bro. We're just ignorant, bro.
Please forgive us. We're ignorant.
Yeah.
We're ignorant to a fault of comedy.
Ignorant dude. Yeah.
Yes, Samoan is the number one ignorant people to the fault of comedy. We'll laugh at our shit, our own shit. We'll laugh at your shit too.
Hey, what about I remember this one person said, you know, our Samoan jokes back then, you know, I laugh now, cry later. Please
forgive us. We don't want to cry. We don't want to cry. Please forgive us. What was it your cousin was saying? Guysosmooth apologizes too much. Hey man, I gotta apologize. I don't want to get sued or be liable for any of this shit that goes on our podcast. I got no money, man. No food for me, man.
Oh my gosh.
Man, that'll be another great subject we could talk about. Freaking hormones and sex. Girls in the closet about sex and shit.
Yeah, let's talk about that right now, man.
Oh my gosh.
Too much to expose, bro.
What is that? TBT.
Man. Oh man. Oh,
TBT.
Excuse me.
TBT.
A little too much there. Anyhow.
Let's move on.
Welcome back. How about we take a little break? Let's take a little break and we'll be back after these next messages. Catch you all later, fools. This episode of the Wefobz Podcast is brought to you by Wefobz.io, Wefobz.io. Visit our website where you can find out everything you want to know about Wefobz. The Wefobz platform is about bringing in content creators and like-minded individuals to expand their horizons and share their ideas and skills to work at creating a nation of Wefobz members that support and encourage each other to reach financial freedom. We've got different tabs on there that you may want to check out. We've got our hobbies tab, our facts, our podcast, our Wefobz Nation store, about us, our roadmap, and our contact forms. Anything you want to do with Wefobz is on that website. Wefobz.io, bringing Wefobz the Podcast straight to you. Man, thank you for giving us that break, boys. Hella needed that.
Hey, so what's the moral of the story? Or what's the conclusion of the party?
So the conclusion is let's be more open-minded to where the roots that we come from, man. Let's be more open-minded to the future we're trying to look at. Have respect, man. We came from that pottery proves we weren't what they thought we were. We weren't that Stone Age. We were pretty much at the same level as, just what I believe is we were at the same level as the Sumerians, Greeks, and the Romans and the Babylonians back then, and the freaking Mayans and the Aztecs. And our people were at that same level. So let's get back. Let's have that pride and move forward, open-mindedly to know what we can achieve in the future for everyone, no matter who you are. That makes sense, Puni?
Oh, where you're from? Yes.
I like it. It reminds me a lot of stories back I used to hear from my grandparents.
Beautiful.
Parents back. So it's a good reminiscence of the things they used to talk about. Pretty interesting topic. Thanks for that one. That was a good one.
And thank you to my buddy Tony for bringing that up on Facebook. Tony, you know who you are, man. And thank you for sharing that story from our Facebook feed for the Lapita Pottery. Shout out to you. But boys, we're about to start closing things out, so I'm gonna give you a quick run through with the Wefobz updates and following the market. What you all think?
Let's do this.
All right. So on our Wefobz updates, there's been a couple more videos going up on our hobby section for the Wefobz Gaming. I think you all may want to check that out. Your boy Guysosmooth been active on that channel, really getting into the gaming thingy. Gaming is also another play we're making our investments into because we want to build on that platform. Wefobz is really connected to that kind of platform as well in the Web3 category. We're going to be working on the store also, try to get a couple more things up in that store so that you guys, any interesting wear or clothes wear or whatever. If you guys have any suggestions on some merchandise you want from the Wefobz Nation or the Wefobz, us here at Wefobz, just hit us up. We're going to start designing some more and putting it up in our Wefobz Nation store. And finally, following the market, everybody knows we talked about the banks collapsing. You always want to make sure you look into that. If you make plays in the stock market or the crypto market, we're not advising you, but the plays we plan to make is we plan to pick up some of the stocks that we see are good. We've done our research on and we figure is good companies going forward. We may not also want to pick up us here, Chieflott, Puni Moa, guysosmooth. We may want to pick up other bank share stocks from the big banks. I mean, Bank of America, all those guys, we might want to look into those, see if we can buy those at a low discounted price and then ride the wave up when they become worth a lot more money. But then again, as we also pointed out, we're going to also watch out for how the finances in the United States play out, because this is a very interesting time to be in the finance world where all these changes are happening with money. Puni pointed out a lot, like, who the fuck cares? We're just making it known because we want to, again, ride the train up, ride that wave up, and we want to reach our financial freedom. Anything else following the market that we want to put out there? I think that should be about as good as it goes for now. Boys, anything you want to add on?
Yeah, cop some NFTs, some Wefobz NFTs. It's a good shot to grab some, have access to all the things that we have coming in the near future. As we're riding this wave, there's a lot of combinations of waves, things that we'll be introducing in the music sector, film, comedy, all kinds of cool stuff. Grab some NFTs now while they're at discounted prices. When the market seems like it's collapsing, and if we're following the trend, how it kind of goes up and down throughout the years, ride the wave. So when it pops off, you can say, yeah, I was part of the Wefobz Nation right from the jump through the hard times, and we're gonna tough it out. Like, geez.
Yeah.
Puni, anything else?
No, I was just thinking out loud. Following the market, like you mentioned, for the followers to, if they have any recommendations of what to sell on the Amazon, all that stuff. I just thought of this, guys. What about we sell some adult toys on the market? Followers, let us know. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a hot thing right now, especially for like 30-year-olds and up. You know,
Holy shit!
for nowadays.
That's some suggestion.
They're like adult toys. You find
Man,
yeah, man.
it's gotta be cool.
I've been
Love it. I love the idea.
And I tell you guys, it's great. It's a great experience. You know, I'm only
It's a great experience.
I certify and recommend my Islanders get into the toy business. You will be surprised. Guys so smooth. I'm gonna get you one, Chieflott. I'm gonna even send you one. You know what I'm saying? If you have that lovey-dovey chick on the side or whatever, check it out, man. It'll be called the Puni Moa toy. Yeah, we're thinking into all markets. You know what I'm saying? You gotta be. That's all I'm thinking of, guys. Just exploring.
Oh my god, dudes!
Yeah, man.
Put that on a closing note. I totally forgot what was the end of the note, dudes.
Shout out to Gray, aka yes, sir.
Shout out to all
podcast did not go how I expected it to.
Hey, thank you to all the viewers and listeners, man, out there. Hit us up, man. Like, comment, and share. I hope you like what you're seeing and stuff, man. Give us the feedback, man. We're over here just kind of going with the flow. I'll be part of what we're doing. We appreciate all those that hit us up directly. So shout out to you guys, man. Much love and respect. God bless.
Puni.
Shout out to the Filipinos for making lumpias. Much respect. I appreciate y'all for inventing that. And again, shout out to Gray, who's not on right now, and all the followers. Appreciate y'all support. I'm out.
Wefobz Nation, we want to thank you for tuning in to Wefobz the Podcast, episode 13. This is Chieflott. This is Puni Moa. This is Guys So Smooth. Wishing you the very best in all that you do. We hope to see you on the next podcast right here with the Wefobz family. Once again, Wefobz!
Wefobz!